Hey everyone, Pauline here from Zilch Beauty, certified makeup artist, and here with Subtle Beauty again to show you a quick and easy tutorial just using 3 of their Subtle Stack products to help you get more awake looking eyes. So I feel like my eye area is definitely the one area of my face that I can tend to get a little insecure about. I naturally have some deeper tear troughs that give me a natural shadow, and so even though I've gotten sleep, I can sometimes look like I haven't. So if you've watched any of my tutorials before, I'm a huge fan of skin prep, and skin prep to me starts with cleansing the skin. So this might be a no-brainer, but make sure that your face is clean in the morning, especially if you wore makeup the night before. Sometimes I'll get clients that come in and they still have like mascara or eyeliner that's running around their eye area that's dipping into that under eye area, which can naturally cause discoloration due to the dark pigments. So make sure you're cleansed and totally makeup removed. And then next step is always applying an eye cream. I am such a big fan of eye cream. I like to prep just by getting it on my ring finger and just lightly tapping it in those areas that I need a little extra nourishment. Biggest reason I love eye cream is because number one, it's giving hydration and moisture to that under eye area, which a lot of times when you look tired, it's lack of hydration, both internally and sometimes externally. Drinking water is another huge tip. Making sure that you are hydrated is always going to help with that blood flow underneath the eye area, but making sure that you are also hydrated and moisturized from the outside with an eye cream is going to be a great first step before you start applying any makeup. So once you give that eye cream a minute or two to dry down, you can get any residue also on the tops of your lids just to kind of give that area some awakeness as well. But I'm gonna go right into my stack. Like I said, I had 3 products here. I'm gonna start with my concealer. I'm in the shade Arlington, and I like to start with my finger, and I like to focus the majority of my product in the areas that I personally need some help the most. So like I talked about, this tear trough area right here, and then I also get a little bit of like shadowing and some vein discoloration on my outer eye area. So I like to just use my finger to really pat the product in, and then any extra residue I will help carry throughout that middle section of my under eye. This helps with not creasing. A lot of people will apply a heavy amount of under eye product throughout the whole under eye, and typically when we smile, the creases of our eyes form right in this like middle to outer area. So you want to avoid putting too much product in that area so that you won't crease and you really just get that coverage where you need it. So I'm gonna go in with a second layer here. I'm just dipping in with my finger to that Arlington shade, and again I'm pushing it into the skin in those 2 areas, and then anything extra I will just kind of buff in with my finger to make sure it looks cohesive underneath the eye. Now, some of us also get discoloration on our eyelids. I can get a little bit red, so I'm also going to take a little bit of that Arlington shade and just lightly bring it across my lid to brighten that, and I feel like you can see a difference. Look at these 2 sides. This looks much more bright versus this side. A little more on this side. I enjoy using my finger for the subtle concealers, especially if you're going with the day-to-day look. So it's up to you. You can keep layering from there based on your needs, or you can let it dry down for a bit. My next best tip is going to be to use the shine control powder. I'm going to use the retractable brush today. I'm just going to buff anything that was on here on the back of my hand, and I'm going to get it really dense. I personally love to powder, but in a very specific way. I don't like big powder brushes where you swipe a ton of product all over the under eye. Again, I really want to focus it just in those areas that I need that extra brightness. So tap it into that inner corner on top of where I placed that first amount of product. And then I'm going to set it on those outer corners. And then anything extra, again, I will just lightly dab across the rest of my under eye. And then again, you can bring a little bit of that powder on top of the eyelids if you did put some concealer there, just because sometimes, I don't know if you saw, if you just leave concealer on the lids, you'll see that it kind of gets into the nooks and crannies of the creases of the lids, and you want to make sure that you are powdering out that cream so that you don't crease on the eyelids as well. So already feeling much better, much more awake. I'm going to use my fingers again. This is a very sheer gold highlighter, but highlighting the areas of the eye that need a little brightness are really going to be your best friend. So the areas that I like to highlight are usually the inner corner. So I'm just picking up a little bit of that highlighter with my pinky, and I'm putting it right in that nook, both on top of the inner corner of the lid and also in the inner corner against the bridge of my nose. And you can see it just kind of gives that extra pop of brightness where there's usually a bit of a shadow. So I'm doing the same thing on this side. You can already see a difference there. And then you can also bring a little bit of that highlighter right in the middle of the lid and up toward that crease using that same champagne highlight. Reason being that when light hits the top of your lid, it reflects. And if we can create a reflection on that top lid that kind of like bounces upward, it's gonna make the eye just a little more wide, AKA a little more awake. So you can see it's almost like this little like halo moment right in the middle there. We also tend to get a little bit of a highlight point right under our brow bone. So if you want to take your pinky and use that champagne highlighter and just lightly swipe it across the brow bone, again, it's just gonna help light reflect where you want it to instead of giving a shadow. I like to only apply mascara on the top lashes when I want to look more awake, just to avoid any darker product falling into that area that we just took so much time brightening. So there you have it. Some really easy tricks to create a really bright eye look that really will take less than 5 minutes. Hopefully you found this helpful, and we'll be back with more videos soon. Bye everyone.